This week, we're talking about acquired immunity, which is the way your immune system fights very specific pathogens. It's not just the blanket, we're going to kill everything we see that doesn't belong kind of immunity. It's we know that this thing is out there and we're going to go get it. So there's really two types of cells, two general types of cells that are involved in your specific immunity, and that's B cells. They do what's called humoral immunity. It's in your fluids. And they mature in the bone marrow. The easy way to remember B cells, bone marrow. They release these little antibodies, these proteins that have a Y shape. And at each of the three ends, they have a binding site that specifically matches an antigen, the little ID marker on the outside of the invader cell. And so B cells release these antibodies, and they can do four things. One, they can stick to the outside of a cell, and they can keep it from binding to your own cells. All right, so it's kind of like wrapping someone in bubble wrap, or taping them up, or tying them up. They can't get to the cells. Next, they do what's called agglutination. They because they have three little prongs, they can stick to one cell and then stick to another cell, and then that can stick to another cell. And it's kind of like in the old days, the prisons used to have prisoners working on a chain gang where all their legs were connected together. No one can run away if you have to run away at the same time as all the other prisoners. So by causing agglutination and this clumping up, the pathogens can't escape your non-specific immune cells. They're phagocytes that are going to come eat them. All right. And then they can activate complement proteins. Remember those proteins that can cause the cells to kill themselves, or your natural killer cells, which they're not looking for specific cells. They're just looking for antibodies that have marked these cells to die. All right. The other type of cell in your acquired immune system are T cells, and they mature in the thymus. And there's two types of them. You have helper T cells and cytotoxic T cells, also called killer T cells. Helper T cells are going to activate the cytotoxic T cells and also your B cells and kind of get them going, fighting the infection. They're kind of the cells that start it all. Now, they themselves get activated by dendritic cells, which, if you recall from last week, they're phagocytes, but they take the parts of the pathogen back to these helper T cells and kind of say, hey, look, this is the thing that's fighting us. This is the thing that's attacking. So the helper T cells will activate the B cells, which are making the antibodies, and then they'll also activate cytotoxic T cells, which kind of like natural killer cells, they'll bind to a cell that's infected and release this molecule that's called perforin. It's like perforation. If you have perforated paper, it kind of has tiny little holes in it. Well, it's going to perforate the infected cell, and it's going to pop, and it's going to make the cell die. And that's bad for that one cell, but it's not going to make more viruses. It's not going to serve as food for bacteria. So it's good for the body.